Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Lucia Clementi and I co-coordinate the cooking program at the Italian American Heritage Foundation, along with Ken Borelli. And now that we're sheltering at home, I'm happy to teach a class on one of my favorite dishes, Pasta al Pesto. I thought this would be a good dish to teach during this time because it requires few ingredients and is easy and delicious. Allora, cominciamo. That means, okay, let's get started. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we start our pot of water that we're going to boil our pasta in. This dish, you can prepare this dish pretty quickly. So that's why we want to make sure that our pasta water is starting to cook on the stove. So I added some salt to the water, covering it up, and away we go on that, and turn on my burner. Now, I'm going to go through all of the ingredients that we're going to use in this pesto recipe. I've got, of course, basil, so you're going to use about 2 cups. And the bunch that I used, it was just 1 bunch, and it's about 2 cups. So you can see it in my measuring cup. We also have some Parmesan cheese, about 3/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese. And I've got olive oil, and I've got 1/2 cup of olive oil here. And I've got about 2 tablespoons of almonds. Now, normally you're going to use the pine nuts for your pesto. However, pine nuts are really expensive, so I usually use almonds, and I kind of like it better. But you can use either one. And I'm going to go back and get my salt, which is right over here. And we'll also use a little bit of salt and pepper. So, okay, let's get started on the pesto sauce. First of all, I usually use a food processor in order to make my pesto. You can also use a blender, or if you have a bullet, you can use that as well. Okay, so I'm going to put my basil leaves in my food processor. Just adding them here. I was happy to find basil when I went shopping the other day. We're so lucky to get any kind of ingredients while we're sheltering in, because let's face it, a lot of the stores just don't have a lot of the items that we need. So we're going to have to be happy with what we can find. So here I'm going to put my olive oil into my food processor. You can see how easy this particular dish is. And I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese. And you can add, if you want less than 3/4 cup, you can do that. If you want to put more, you can also put more. So it's entirely up to you. Now I got a nice big garlic to add to this dish. And you can use 1 big clove of garlic like I'm using here, or you can use more, you can use less, whatever your taste is in garlic. Okay, now I'm going to add my almonds. And I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. And usually I don't even measure this. I just kind of eyeball it. So you can see how much I'm adding. You can see how much I'm adding. It's about a quarter of a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm just going to kind of just put that in there like that. And we're ready to go. Put my lid on, close this baby up, and here we go. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape the sides with my scraper here. Make sure everything is in the bowl. And I'm going to run it again to make it even smoother, because you want your pesto nice and smooth. Well, it looks good to me at this point. Now we're still waiting for our water to boil. What I'm using for my pasta today is a rigatoni. I normally like to use mostaccioli because it just comes out delicious with the mostaccioli. But I was able to find rigatoni, so that's what I'm going to use, and I'm sure it's going to be just perfect too. So that's the kind of pasta I'm using today, and I measured it out for about 2 people. It's going to be my husband Dave and I eating this, and by the way, my husband Dave is the cameraman. He's behind the camera today. So so it'll just be the 2 of us. And I did want to mention that the amount I'm making today is usually good for about 2 people when you make your dinner. If you're going to have more people over for dinner that you're making this for, well, then you just want to increase the amount that you're making, double it, instead of just the amount that I prepared today. So thank you very much for now, and I'm waiting for my water to boil. Okay, now that the water's boiling, I'm going to add my pasta to the boiling water and stir it. Wait till it boils again. While it's coming up for a boil again, boil it for as long as your pasta directions tell you. And then we'll once it's done, we'll drain it and put the pesto sauce on it. And now I'm going to test the pasta to see if it's done. Molto buono. I'm ready to drain it. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pasta, put it in a bowl, and mix up my pesto sauce. Alrighty, let's go over here to the table. Get a nice spoon that I can mix my pesto with the pasta. Yeah, this is the first time I've tried it with rigatoni, but I'm sure it's going to be real good. And here we go. Man, oh man, I tell you, so many of my friends really love this pesto sauce. I've made it for some of my dinners, and this is the one they love the most. I thought they would like my red sauce better, but they really love this one. So I'm sure you're gonna love it too. And you know, when you serve it on the table, you can add more cheese if you'd like. We usually do. And maybe you want to pair it with a little bit of wine, a little bit of vino. Sounds really good. And usually I serve it with a salad. So I'm really glad that you joined me while I taught Pasta al Pesto. I want to say God bless you all and keep healthy and safe. Thank you.
Guarda. Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Lucia Clementi, and I co-coordinate. Let's start again. I co-coordinate. Maybe I'll read it from here because I'm going to start over here.
Okay.
Okay, start again.